Louisiana's new insurance commissioner says the state faces an uphill battle in recruiting new insurance companies to do business. Tim Temple became the sole candidate on the ballot last year after his only opponent dropped out of the race. Now that he's officially in office, Temple says part of the fix to the state's insurance crisis is getting rid of a law that's intended to help protect consumers. WWL Louisiana anchor Brandon Walker pushes Temple for an explanation as thousands of Louisiana homeowners struggle to pay skyrocketing premiums.
I am literally wading in the water right now. Let me show y'all my boots.
Last Saturday's Mardi Gras meltdown traded beads for boots.
Y'all see my feet?
And the mambo for a melee in the rain.
I want to go home, but I'm trapped in my shop over here on Rampart Street. Look at this.
Streets swelled as drivers risked stall out.
I could go swimming down my block.
And the threat of financial wipeout flooded fears once more. Homeowner Jalyn Ziles took to Instagram.
Everyone's insurance is going up like crazy, doubling, tripling, all of that kind of stuff.
Be it everyday rainstorms that overwhelm city pumps, tornadoes, hurricanes, fires. Louisiana residents are at a crossroads. Keep up with rising insurance rates or risk it all and hope state leaders come up with a fix soon.
I understand it's tough. I understand that people are making tough financial decisions every day as it relates to insurance.
Tim Temple, Louisiana's new insurance commissioner, says the state's insurance crisis didn't develop overnight. The cure, Temple says, won't come quickly either.
It does take time for that to happen, which is why it's all the more important that we hit this regular session fast and hard with these, legislative changes that we're going to bring.
The regular session begins March 11th. Lawmakers last month convened a special session at the Capitol. However, redistricting, not insurance, proved the priority. But here's the problem. After Ida and several other big storms that followed, the deluge became the exodus.
We've had 12 companies go insolvent, but we've also had dozens of companies have said, we're just not going to do business in Louisiana anymore.
Temple says that's his focus, getting more insurers back to the state, a task he says requires lawmakers to improve conditions to do business.
Whatever the coverage is, we have to attract companies, and we attract them from having a predictable, a stable regulatory environment.
What should be the focus of regulation then?
In my opinion, it's to facilitate companies entering the state to do business, doing business in the state, and if they choose to exit the state.
What specific bills would you support being brought to a vote on the floor?
Louisiana is the only state in the U.S. that has a 3-year rule.
Louisiana's 3-year rule, a law that prohibits an insurer from dropping a policy or increasing the deductible if that policy has been in effect for more than 3 years. Non-payment and insurance fraud are 2 exceptions. The previous insurance commissioner, Jim Donnellan, said it was needed to protect policyholders. Temple wants to get rid of it.
In my opinion, it's anti-consumer. In the sense that it inhibits companies from wanting to come into Louisiana.
There was a bill previously to weaken that 3-year rule and it failed. What do you think will change this time around?
Things are not getting better. And, until we take care of some of the fundamentals of the fundamental insurance challenges that we've got in the state, we're just going to continue to bump along the bottom, if you will, on this unaffordability issue.
Bottom line, Temple says, insurance is a business. He says that's punctuated by a 5-state Gulf Coast competition: Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, each trying to woo insurance companies willing to write policies.
If you're a company looking to write in that area, you're going to look and see what's the regulatory framework, what's the regulatory environment like in Texas or Mississippi or Alabama or Florida.
You've said that insurance companies should be able to pick where they provide policies here in the state of Louisiana. Some say that that's not fair.
Fair in what sense? I mean, it's business, it's free enterprise. I mean, I don't think it's a realistic expectation to say that you have to write my home because I choose to live 2 miles from the Gulf Coast, or I choose to live on the Gulf Coast.
State lawmakers last year approved $42 million in incentive payments meant to attract new companies by drawing up competition. It didn't work.
So it didn't attract new capital. It didn't attract new business.
However, Temple says a step in the right direction is the Fortify Homes program, which grants up to $10,000 for homeowners to upgrade their roofs to better withstand hurricane-force winds.
What I'd like to see is a more permanent, sustainable funding source for the fortified roof.
Permanent solutions to a problem Temple says will take time to solve, even if he gets the state legislature's support.
How much time do you have to get any legislation pushed through here? It seems pretty dire.
I certainly don't want to try and set the expectation that this is going to be a fix this year, and by the end of the year everything has gotten better and everybody is singing, oh, my insurance is so affordable. That's not a realistic expectation. It does take time for that to happen.
Before being elected insurance commissioner, Tim Temple spent his career in the insurance industry, climbing from agent to executive. He says that experience from within is a plus, but now as the state's chief insurance regulator, should consumers be worried about where Temple's alliances stand? Get his answer to that question in part 2 of our reporting tomorrow morning on the WWL Louisiana Morning News at 6. You'll also hear from an insurance broker on what he thinks state leaders should do and what you can do right now in hopes of securing a lower premium. I'm Brandon Walker, WWL Louisiana.